Hello and welcome to the Flow Certified Coach training series. This is video 13 where we're going through the 11th tile for right people. And this is the 4R model, which is the right truth, right values, right actions, and right results. And of course, as with all of the other tiles, we're looking at this through the individual lens, the team lens, the product lens, and the organization lens. Today, we have Hans Gillier with us, and I'm going to let Hans take it away and introduce himself. Welcome, Hans.
Thank you so much, Andrew. I think it's a privilege to be part of this teach back model and this tile 11. I am a digital transformation professional and now also a Flow certified coach. I've been working with a lot of IT transformation journeys over the years, and especially focusing around change leadership people. Um, and I think that the flow methodology works quite well in this, and it's really um, provides the last piece of puzzle to understand why some transformation are more successful than others, to get the flow going in the organization.
Exactly. Super. It's great to have you with.
Thank
And just to let the viewers know, we've got some bookmarks here. So when you see these light colored teal slides, the first one in each of the videos is going to be the leadership takeaway for this
you.
transformation tile. Then we'll do the tile, and occasionally there's other slides, but
Yeah.
after that tile, we have a recap with
Mm.
application. So I'll let you take it away from here, and I may jump in here and there as we go along.
Yeah, please do. The 4R model is a really interesting, a very interesting model itself, because it is really emphasizes a different perspective of change. And the first one is really about the right truth. And this can actually mean a lot of things. It can mean the vision that is sort of in the middle of the model itself, but it also can mean meaning and purpose. Why are we doing this? What is it? What is the sort of the burning platform for doing the change itself? But it can also be understanding the forces that we are placed within our own DNA. It can be truth about knowing the challenges of reaching that vision itself and the objectives we have set up. So it can be a lot of things. And what we usually see here is that when it comes to a leadership organization, leadership management team, that there are different truths. And that many of the leaders have different ideas of why we're doing this and different kind of contexts of why this is important. And when they have that, what we get is that we get different kinds of communications in the organization, creating a lot of confusion. So the right truth is really the foundation for doing this kind of transformation. The right values and attitudes is the second part of the 4R model. And this is also going back a little bit to the leadership styles and culture. And I think this is also very important, because culture and leadership is the main sort of challenges in doing the transformation itself. And this is where most transformation fails. That we need to have leaders and employees that actually practice the values and have the right attitudes for this. Um, and this is often very underrated, I would say. The way we communicate the truth and the way we uh, implement the new values and so on. For example, I worked with a Nordic bank, and we only measured the performance in terms of what we delivered, not how we behaved, which was quite interesting. So what they did in the transformation program is also started measuring behavior. So the delivery and behavior was sort of going hand in hand in the delivery, in the performance. And I think that was quite a good starting point to actually show how important that is. The right actions, being the third point, is also important. And what I find most interesting is that the actions need to be aligned to the truth. Um, what we see today in an organization is that maybe 30-40% of the actions, initiatives, and investments we do have no connection to the truth at all. And no contribution to the vision or the objective itself. And that is because we don't have the right truth. We don't understand the true challenges of actually implementing the objectives or the truth itself. And by not having that foundation, we often do the wrong actions or invest in the wrong things, meaning that in the end we will get the wrong results.
Exactly.
So, so and mainly we also are quite bad at measuring the results. I read the Gartner report saying that only less than 50% of the organization measure the effects of their digital transformation, which is quite horrible.
Wow.
Uh,
That's
and
amazing.
that's amazing. And my conclusion that is that these four different parts of the 4R model are not aligned, and they have not built a foundation for actually measuring the right things. So I think that these four are very, very valid in that sense and need to be aligned. You need to start with top. You cannot really skip any of these points, or you need to go full steam in all of them to actually get the right results.
Yep, exactly. Let's head to the next slide,
Yeah, please.
because that's a perfect segue into this
Yeah,
next slide.
yeah, definitely. And I think this is really interesting because where you have placed these four R components in this chart, the right truth is the responsibility of the leaders.
Yeah,
And it has to be placed with the organization, and it has to be aligned with the product itself. That's where the truth has to be stated. And not only the vision or objectives itself, but also understand the challenges we have, to have a common view about where we're going and what are the challenges of achieving that objective itself. And that is really the leadership side of that. And I think that the products organization also need to understand that to sort of cascade that truth into the different product itself and the different challenges we have.
yeah,
Then we have the right values and attitudes, and this is the cultural part, and this very much goes toward the teams. That's and also leadership itself, but we need to have the right attitudes and culture within the teams, understanding our own perspectives and our own position and our own expectations of ourselves, where we are, and having the right mindset of what we do. Um, I think that is really, really important, and that will lead to the right actions, which is really bridging the team into the individuals. It's in the individuals that will carry out the action and make a difference. It's the employees, the people itself that are the key component of this transformation and this delivery part. And then in the end, we need also to then analyze and produce reports about how the individuals carried out the value creation and value delivery to the leaders, so they quickly can adjust or to learn from this experience. Did the whole cycle actually work or not? So I think this is a really good way that you have placed the different in these different elements to see how they actually support the whole cycle. With the vision obviously in the middle, because the vision is what all of the different areas need to comply to and need to understand and need to work against from these different perspectives. So.
exactly. And this is a tool that both Ted, myself, and many of the FCTs, which are the trainers, and many of the coaches and the professionals have used down through the years to work with individual team members.
Mm.
And so we use it as a little bit like a radar that we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
sort of double check. And you had, I think, a pretty good example of a leader or an executive or that was reporting to the CIO, that you ran into the situation where they just spoke up and they said, we've tried digital transformation 150 times and it's never worked. Okay, maybe it wasn't that bad, but you had a chance to have coffee with them, and you were going to share, I think, a little bit about how you use the for our model in that situation.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. This was a couple of years ago. I worked with a niche bank in the southern part of Sweden, and they had been assigned, or the CIO had been assigned to carry out this IT transformation work from the board. And so they hired this actually Finnish guy to to um, to drive this transformation. And he's been successful in other companies in Finland, especially in media companies, to succeed with this. And we worked with him for a couple of months to do the analysis of the organization and the governance structure, strategy, and everything to understand where were the real challenges we have. And we defined a new operating model, a new strategy and direction for him. And I remember it was somewhere in April. We were heading down to this conference center in southern part of Sweden, and he brought the full management team. And in his let's say Finnish way, he would actually very bluntly talk about sort of the direction where they were going and why. Very
Yeah.
yeah, not really in a motivating way or engaging way, but saying this is really what we're doing. And then he headed straight into actions and saying that, well, you are the head of application development, you will do this, and you are the head of security, you will do this, and so on.
Yeah.
And in the end, in the middle of this presentation, one of the senior managers, I think he was responsible for application maintenance, something that stood up and asked him, I've been here for 10 years and we tried this journey for so many times. What I don't believe in this. What is the difference now from what we tried before? And and that really confused the CIO. And he didn't really know how to address that. And so he just continued with saying that, well, this is your actions. This is what you should do, and this is the result I will try to get. But after the meeting, I actually had a coffee with his senior manager and asked him about his why he stood up and talked about this. And so we sat down, had a coffee in front of this really nice fireplace, and he thought about it for quite some time. And he said in the end that, we've done this 5 times or 6 times, and all the time they've been very practically and never really explained to us the meaning and purpose of why we're doing this. I don't feel any sort of energy or engagement for doing this as well because I'm not part of it. I'm not. I don't understand what's in it for me.
Yeah.
And I think this goes
Yeah.
right back to the 4R model that somewhere along the line the CIO missed about the truth about why we're doing this. What is the reason, the meaning and purpose? What are the challenges that we see? And he also failed of creating the right values and attitudes, creating the passion and engagement and for this journey. And he directly went into the actions. This is
Yeah.
what we're going to do, and expected the great results.
Yeah.
So I missed the first part of this for our model, and this is quite common I see in many organizations, and that leaders are very bad at communicating and creating engagement in the organization, and meaning that most of the transformation fail. We can do months of research, months of analysis, but if the leader in that moment fail to somehow describe the truth and the attitudes, then it's bound to fail.
Yeah.
So what happened in the organization is that it was a year of endless confusion,
Wow.
endless conflicts in this organization. In the end, the CEO left the organization
Wow.
because he could not handle it.
Yeah.
And I remember also going back there, I think it was 6 or 9 months afterwards, because they had recruited some new managers, because most of the managers left the organization.
Wow.
And he had not been able to express the truth or the values to them as well. So we had, I remember having, I think we had a 4 hour workshop of endless confusion, of endless debate about what we were doing and why we were doing it.
Yeah.
And he had not really set the foundation for it.
Yeah.
And I know now he's not there any longer.
Yeah.
And so I think that is something that we come back to over and over again, that you cannot really just focus on actions and expect results. You need to build a foundation of truth and
Exactly.
values, because transformation is about people. It's not about structure in the end.
I, I really like what you said about the executives. They inform and then they expect action, but they forget to distill agreement on the values and attitudes, which is what, exactly like you said, that's what generates the enthusiasm
Yeah.
in the teams. And
Mm.
as a leader, if you're not infusing that enthusiasm and inspiring the teams and breathing life into those teams, you've nailed it right on the head. That's just perfect. And this actually connects over to the 4D model that we'll be going through there, because we actually have a copy of Bob's picture where we go through the inform act cycle, which is
Mm.
includes the 4D model. But you could also substitute in there the 4R model, because they're mirror images of each other. And
Yeah.
so this is an absolutely perfect example for this tile. That's absolutely super. We're starting
Yeah,
to,
and I can add something there as well, because I mean,
yeah,
what I feel is that when we talk about transformation and change, I think we need to realize that this is something that's enormously stressful for employees to go through,
very
and
much.
it actually releases a lot of biological hormones in the body that has huge consequences on how we react to
Yeah.
change itself. I actually had a discussion with a psychologist, was a business psychologist, I think, and talked about the element of change. And she said that meeting transformation or change in an organization releases the same hormones as meeting a bear in the forest. And you
That's
can react in,
beautiful.
yeah, and you can react in 3 different ways. You can fight, you can flee, you can freeze. And that is the natural response to change and to this kind of
Yeah.
stress.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the truth and the right values and attitudes, you will get freeze or fight.
Exactly.
And meaning that you will not get anywhere, because nobody is willing to take a risk or do anything. I don't understand. I don't want to be part of this. I don't understand what's in it for me.
Yeah.
And therefore it will automatically fail.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Kodak with the first digital camera.
Yeah.
Uh, and they froze. They're like, what do we do with this? It will destroy our uh, film business. And they were sitting on the product that would have saved the company. Instead, they ended up bankrupt. That's really
Yeah,
great.
yeah, it's really, really interesting in this, and how actually leaders fail to take this change management seriously, and also viewing their own role in the change on this transformation. So if we a little bit want to recap here, I mean, I see that these 4 parts of the 4R model are extremely important by themselves, but also together, and that they build a beautiful alignment and process, and almost a circle going around, where
Yeah,
all of these different components need to interact with each other to actually get the build a momentum for change or for transformation itself.
yeah,
So I think that's really interesting, and I mean, applications are endless. I think. Um, we can use this as a diagnostics tool, actually go into an organization, see why did it fail, and looking at these 4 components and actually see which of these didn't we do, did we skip, or which were the weak ones in doing that. So I think the root cause analysis of analyzing failed transformation is endless, and
Yeah.
endless opportunities in doing that. And I think that is part of the learning. If we don't learn, we will never improve. So I think that's really, really, really good. And also when you start up the transformation, actually looking at these 4 and saying, okay, so what do we do in the different areas? How do we quality assure these areas, and getting the right messages in there to build the momentum change.
Excellent. Thanks, Hans. This was really good. I really appreciate your time today.
Yeah.
And I'm going to end the video here. And we look forward to seeing you in 1 or 2 more videos. And so
Yeah.
this is
Well,
really
be
good.
back.
All
Yeah.
right. Thanks. And I'm going to end this here. Thanks.